yung ginawa po ng inyong opisina, Mr. Chair, on laying down all of this principle. Nag-iiba lang yung mga semantics, but actually it addresses the standards that we want to be able to achieve the goal of shedding light to the budget cycle.
Thank you, Ann. But I want to get your opinion on what AJ mentioned. No? Right now, may mga standards tayo. And I think there's consensus on the standards, di ba? The technology that best addresses these standards right now, what are the technologies that best addresses the standards right now? And maybe I'll ask you, Sec Dave, also. Sige, Ann.
So for now, it's a combination of not just blockchain, to be able to shed light and make meaning or make sense out of the data that we will be able to extract from the disclosures of different agencies. It will require other things. Kasi if you just say, okay, blockchain lang, so what now? What if nilagay lang natin yung data? How do you make meaning? How do you shed light and monitor the cycle? It will require interoperability, APIs, AI. So kaya po sinasabi namin, gawin siyang digital platform that allows all of these combinations of technology. Pag sabi po kasi nating immutability, it's not unique to blockchain. There would be other technologies like ImmuDB, Tessera, and others that can address that. Para po lang maging hindi tayo malimit dun sa ledgering system only.
Currently, nothing in the law limits rin naman to blockchain. But
Yes.
my question is, but definitely the standards that we want, it does also, like blockchain does allow for these standards to be met.
Yes.
Diba? So,
Today.
today, maybe not 3 years from now or 5 years from now. So I guess that's my concern. Eh. So parang there was some concern about blockchain in general, but maybe there's a misunderstanding about blockchain, maybe because it's closely related to crypto. Maybe that's where some of the concerns come in. But if you really look at it, you can separate the crypto. In fact, we didn't talk about tokenization here. We didn't talk about having stable coins. We're not putting the budget, DOF, we're not putting it on Bitcoin or anything like that. No, we're not. No. So maybe that's where some of the concern comes from. Or maybe some of the concern comes from a lack of understanding of the technology itself. So clearly, I think right now, we're allowing for different technologies to come in. Pero kapag nag-present na yan, the different groups will present their suggestions to the ICT, the best of the best will have to come out. And right now, the technology that fits a lot of this seems to be leaning towards some aspect of blockchain. Is that fair to say, Ano? Yes? Sige, Yusek Dave, can you shed light on this also?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I think a lot of words here in the past, if you maybe 15 or 10 years ago, if you mention the word digital ledgering, it will lead to a certain technology. But these are becoming already a general word. You know? So when you mention the word digital ledgering, it's no longer focus on a certain technology. So we can use digital ledgering. Everyone is actually using that now. Even small companies, they have their own ways of doing digital ledgering. I think it's Mr. Chair is very correct that since we are decentralizing this, since we are implementing a hyper ledger, which is one of the concept of blockchain. So once you already have the nodes later on, if DBM has it, the ICT has it, COA has it, once you enter data to their digital ledgering, automatically the other nodes will immediately see it, di ba? So I think wala nang mangyayaring yung worry na baka i-alter, baka ibago, baka i-reprogram, mawawala na po yon. And that's the concept of the blockchain technology. My humble suggestion po para since the beautiful law is already, as mentioned multiple times, that I think we are overthinking on the technicalities of this. The simplicity of the law is very nice. It's so beautiful where people really love this because we are here to create a transparency digital portal where people can now not only see the budget, but they can see even the movement and the statuses of this budget moving forward. Whatever technology we'll be using later on, that's why I was insisting that we can discuss this in the IRR side kasi there are technicalities that we could resolve on the IRR but in the law per se the generic way of making the for me na nga ang ganda ng nung latest bill hindi na ako po ako tatanong masyado na kasi nakita ko yung bill, napaka-generic na po siya So in a way po siguro sa mga technicalities, if may I humbly request po sa mga tech po dito na we can discuss that po sa sa IRR. Thank you.
Yusek Dave, I know that you're also a proponent of blockchain technology, di ba? But baka ang nami-misunderstand ng mga tao na isang kumpanya lang yung nagpapatupad ng blockchain sa Pilipinas. How many companies are, I mean, you have Traction here, you have Bayani Chain here, si Blockchain Council, I'm sure, multiple companies who are implementing blockchain, even SGV has an aspect of blockchain, the World Bank is doing blockchain. How many companies are actually doing blockchain in the Philippines?
Actually, Mr. Chair, ang ganda po ng first suggestion niyo po. If you want, let's make it like a consortium. If you would like us to help the government to combine each other's expertise and powers to make this happen, di ba? Siguro baka nagkakaroon ng tama po yung baka po there's a competition between vendors or I think if this is selfless law that this will really heal the Philippines, for me as a citizen also, I think let's focus on that perspective. That's why let's not act like a vendor perspective here. Kung pwede nga lang pagtulong-tulungan na lang natin na walang gastos ng gobyerno, why not do it na lang, di ba? So, para sa akin po siguro, let's focus on the intention of the law, which is just to create a real transparency system, the budget, the statuses, the movement of the money, hanggang po ma-release at ma-verify kung totoo o hindi. Let's focus on that po. And the technicalities po, we could discuss that po later on.
Let me go back lang to my question. Kasi I know online nakikita namin may mga concerns o baka kasi ibig sabihin to may isang grupong gagawa nito, 'di ba? But technically, how many companies are in the Philippines that are using blockchain? Hindi lang naman to isa, di ba? O dalawa, right?
Napakadami po to, Mr. Chair. Actually, pati po yung mga individual companies, they are also implementing their own private blockchain na nowadays. Like banks, they're doing that. Financial inclusions, companies, they're also doing their own blockchain. Hindi na po bago po, Hindi na po itong creating an immutable data with hyperledgering system. Hindi na po to bago to. Maraming gumagawa. So, hindi po, wala pong lock-in actually in a certain vendor po itong in fact nga, yung suggestion ko nga para mawala yung agam-agam natin na baka naman merong nire-ready dyan na specific company na gagawa nito, siyang kikita and the like. I think napakaganda po siguro kung mag-consortium at para sabay-sabay po na magtulong-tulong.
Gambag-gambag tayo, para magawa natin to.
Opo, mas maganda po siguro, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Dr. Villarica?
I think Gail wanted to go first.
Okay, sure. Ladies first, though. Yes, Gail.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, Your Honor, we have a Philippine blockchain report that we released, and based on that, we have roughly 132 to 145 companies in the Philippines that does blockchain. So if you need a copy, we can provide that to you. Thank you, everyone.
You, Gail. Yes, Dr. Villarica.
Yeah, Mr. Chair. So I just wanted to mention, so Gail mentioned there's over 100 people or companies that are using blockchain. So I guess we have to also distinguish the difference between those who are using it and those who are building it. So I think there's probably a handful of them, but I think one of the important things to note is that the open source nature of this blockchain. So you can download blockchain. I think USAC Dave talked about Hyperledger, which is an IBM/Oracle thing. So you can download these things. You can customize them to build whatever we need to build for this particular Kadan Act.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Dr. Villarica, let me ask your opinion. So right now, if you look at the standards, are they enough to describe what we want?
Yes, I think we have enough of the standard here to describe exactly what we want to implement for this.
And
yes.
what we're describing is not locked to a particular group or a particular vendor, correct, no?
Correct.
Okay, it is general enough that many groups can participate.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, but it is specific enough that we know what we want. By the way, that is the joy and difficulty of legislation. Kailangan hahanapin mo talaga yung tamang balanse, no? So I think, AJ, yung concerns are addressed by the language, first and foremost. And secondly, kung maga-consortium, why not? Why not, di ba? In fact, I think that would be great and a transparent process for everyone to participate. And third, babantayan natin to. Hindi tayo papayag na bigla na lang tong pagkapasa ng batas makakalimutan natin. Babantayan talaga natin to. And in fact, later on in section, I think 17 or 18, there's an oversight group which includes the chairman of science and technology as part of that oversight group, so we can make sure that we're exercising oversight in the implementation of the law. Okay, sige. Can we go to section 9? Ito, alam ko, this might also be there's some discussion on this. So go ahead, Jose. Data sovereignty and custodianship.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this section affirms that all fiscal data generated under Cadena belong to the Filipino people. The DICT will act as the primary custodian, ensuring access, data integrity, and long-term preservation of the data. This also means that all data hosting infrastructure must be located within the Philippines, ensuring full domestic control once the system is fully implemented. So that's between 1 to 3 years. And finally, third-party providers may support initial deployment, and they must comply with the Philippine data protection laws, maintain access logs, and guarantee data portability and interoperability.
Okay. We're opening this up for discussion on data sovereignty and hosting. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but si Yusek, Dave, and I, and Sec Henry and I also spoke about this. Right now kasi, we only have basically one government node. Correct, no, Yusek, Dave?
The first node was, ito po yung digital national ID natin, we have the first node.
Yes.
We don't have yet the full blockchain since we only have one node. Our digital national ID, we have 90 million now. So sitting in one node now sa DICT, isa lang po yun. So hindi po ito applicable po dito po sa ginagawa natin, Mr. Chair. Kasi each time that we implement a certain use case sa ating, limbawa, the use case is to make the budget transparent and traceable and the like, we need to create later on another schema for this. So kailangan po natin pong i-align po yung node later on for a certain schema.
So, and since you've read the law, you know the bill, you know that there's phase 1, 2, and 3, di ba? My goal is that by phase 3 is that we will have multiple nodes in the Philippines and multiple government and private sector nodes that can host Cadena. But right now, it's just that we don't have that. Correct, right?
We don't have that, Mr. Chair, but the one that we've done now sa DICT, pati sa DBM, I spoke also to you, Sexasa, we're already aligning. Hindi pa ito pumapasa, Mr. Chair, pero ina-align na po namin ngayon yung mga initial po na nagawa po natin for this, Mr. Chair.
So, if you look at the phasing, phase 1, actually, technically, it's not on the blockchain, it's just really disclosure. Phase 2 and 3, which, at least from what we imagine, is maybe 2027 na to. So hopefully by that time, makahabol na yung mga nodes natin. We'll have more volunteers to put up nodes, maybe from schools and from media companies and institutions. So we're hoping that, so tumataya tayo na by the time this is fully implemented, we would have enough nodes to host this. So that's basically it. With the understanding that right now, there may not be enough nodes, and without prejudice to different groups doing their own pilots, even if the nodes aren't enough right now in the Philippines. Is that a correct assessment? You can please disagree with me if you want. Attorney Mark, you raised your hand. Or sorry, Yusek Dave and then Attorney Mark.
Mr. Chair, wala pong problema yung nodes po, It's not hard actually to build nodes. So I think it's just about creating the schema that will be integrated to multiple nodes later on. So mag-uusap-usap po yan, Mr. Chair. So just to give you also a little bit smile, Mr. Chair, nagsimula na po kami ni DBM. So we already conducted and building our own nodes now. So DBM will have their own node. The DICT will have their own node. So that every time that they enter data here, automatic naka-mirror dito sa another node. So in the future, kapag yung gustong gumawa, sumali, let's say the private sector would like to come in, may node din kami. Sasabihin ng another private sector, nakaya din namin yan, or telco, or mga hospital and the like. So all you need to do is align with the schema of the node na meron, i-disclose po yun, naka-open source po yun. once po na-align po yung node po nila doon, they can now integrate with the chain. So once po they have the nodes already, they can actually create and be part of the chain later on. So pwede po yun, Mr. Chair. Hindi po problema, Mr. Chair, ang pagbibuild ng node. Kaya po natin pong mabilisan na gumawa ng mga nodes natin. Align lang dapat yan sa schema at use case na patutunguhan natin. For this moment, Mr. Chair, napaka